Easy out.
Welcome to another edition of the Friday Fun Show. Working title, your guide to week 17 and perhaps beyond, the season finale of the Friday Fun Show. After the season finale of Thursday Night Football. Dan Hanzus here. And we got a full house. Gregg Rosenthal, Marc Sessler, and our old friend, Ricky Hollywood. Ricky!
Hey, is this song new? Do you guys... I haven't listened to a single episode, so I don't know if this is how we start the show now, or...
Yeah, this is only like the 16th episode of this show, where we've used the song every week since the first week of September. But
got you.
Way to tell on yourself right off the bat. But that's okay.
I mean, Erica didn't really listen to the show when she was the producer of it, so I would not.
No, I listened to it too many times. I listened to it live, and then I had to go back and listen to it again. I had my fill for sure.
Ricky, I understand that. Can you imagine listening to any of our episodes twice? How are you, Erica? How is life? And I know you can't say everything you want to say about your time with the Rams right now because it's been a tough year in LA, but do it anyway.
No, I definitely can, especially since we're live. No, it's been amazing. I'm really happy. You know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, the record has been tough." It is hard. Of course, and it does make my content a little bit more limited. Like, you know, the players, McVay, everyone's not super like, hey, like Erica's up to her dumb SHIT again. Like, they're like, hey, we just got blown out for the 5th time in a row. Like, no one wants to talk. So that's been a little tough, but everything else, like, it's just awesome. Like, I was like getting a coffee the other day, and like Cooper Kupp's behind me waiting to get his coffee, and I'm like, well, the coffee's pouring, like, should I move and like let him go? But I'm like, the coffee's already here, coming out of the machine, you know what I mean? So it's like,
and then you
like
stepped on his foot and re-sprained his ankle, and nobody knows.
He was like, please just like crush this right now. And I was like, just this won't hurt a bit, Coop.
I love it. I could see right now we have the live stream viewers are excited to see Eric again. Eskimo Pete says, missed you so much, Ricky, you sassy legend.
Oh,
I thought like sassy was reserved for the likes of Jack Hay from 227 fame, but apparently crosses over all culture barriers when someone's as sassy as Erica.
No, you got to be a little sassy. I think if I would describe the three of you, the word, and Wes too, sassy fits you guys. Like, you guys know when to sass back. You know what I mean? I think you are sassy.
All right. Ricky is works for the Rams, and it's great to have her back, and she's going to be the centerpiece of the episode a little bit later. I think you know what that means. If you are a fan of the Friday Fun Show, we're going to get to some fearless predictions. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Erica, you need to give us a fearless prediction for week 17 at the end of the episode. Oh, I gave you a little bit of a runway to plan for that. So there you go. Yes, it's about me.
It involves the Rams winning.
Against the Chargers in Rams house, with the Chargers hopefully resting most of their starters. Yeah, baby.
The slugfest in the Southland.
That's what we can get.
We're going to, have some listener feedback, of course. And we start, as we always do. Oh, of course, the injury minute with Greggy. Very important ahead of the penultimate week of the regular season. But first, let's wrap up the first game of week 17, the final Thursday Night Football recap. Al Michaels is still at Moon Shadows.
Here comes 2nd down, 7. Prescott back, looking left. Throwing it in the back of the end zone for Schultz. What a grab! Touchdown, Dalton Schultz! Oh, what a grab by Dalton Schultz, his 2nd touchdown of the night.
Brad Sham, the Sham God. Sham God with the call. The Cowboys had a layup on Thursday night. Yes, they were on the road, but they're facing a Titans team that had nothing to play for, with their season all about Week 18 against the Jaguars. And they took care of business after a bit of a sloppy first half. Dak Prescott threw for 282 and 2 touchdowns to Dalton Schultz. Can't talk today. And that was enough for the Cowboys to take care of the Titans 27-13. That's 6 wins in 7 games, Marc Sessler, for the Cowboys. Take care of business.
Yeah, I mean, what a delectable evening of football. And I actually watched this game in real time, which stuns even myself, because I believe I told you Thursday that I was going to hard skip this and watch it on the 40-minute version, but I thought that's not what I want to do when I wake up. So I observed it, and I thought the Cowboys, I don't know. I mean, I think they wanted to get out of town as quick as possible, and it was made a little bit tougher than planned. I mean, I think ideally you're sitting Tony Pollard to be up 24-0 at half, and Dak throws 2 picks. I think, one of them I'd blame on Dak. The other, came out of the hands of a tight end, but the turnovers have been an issue for Dak Prescott. The other thing, I think the biggest takeaway for me with the Cowboys is they lost their starting center. I hate that. They have to rotate guys, and now they've been using Jason Peters as like more of a swing tackle. He could have to play left tackle full time now. I think that is
what is the injury update on?
I mean,
I think someone said a high ankle sprain, Tyler Biotish, and
it looked bad though, didn't it?
Right. They're hoping maybe he can return for the playoffs. It's one of those that's tough to know.
Yeah.
I don't think it like that injury is a problem, and it's going to make them sit players next week, as they should anyways. If the Eagles win on Sunday, which they will against the Saints, the Cowboys have nothing to play for next week. So that makes Commanders-Browns, I know there's a little bit of a side tangent, but coming off last night, Commanders-Browns to me is like the biggest game in the NFC wildcard race, because if the Commanders win that, then they'll probably get the Cowboys sitting down and get that last spot. But I thought last night was like a good night for them. People get a little carried away with their turnovers. Dak is playing very well. They sat Pollard because they could afford to sit Pollard. DeMarcus Lawrence was like wrecking shop. Micah Parsons is out there with like one hand, and he still somehow gets like a fumble recovery with one hand, which was kind of awesome. And T.Y. Hilton looks good. Like, I love the fact that T.Y. Hilton is a guy now.
And he was supposed to be, this was supposed to be Odell Beckham, hypothetically, a month and a half ago, and that never came to fruition. And to pivot to Hilton, which I think is essentially what they did, that's looking very smart right now. Yeah, I don't know. I think Dallas never seemed to be concerned. I'm trying to think what exactly Zaddy said coming out of the half when Mike McCarthy was interviewed. I think he was just like, he made a comment like, yeah, we got to knock this out or something. Whatever the way he used to describe it, is like nobody was taking the 10-6 score seriously. Obviously, with Josh Dobbs and Derek at quarterback and Derrick Henry on the bench, this was never going to be a game they're going to lose. It does. But the fact that they did take care of business, that's fine. Good job by the Cowboys. You hope to get out of there without injuries. You don't, but nothing too devastating. I do have a thought. Well, I want to save the thought because it's kind of post, not about the game itself. Does anybody else have anything about the game they wanted to share? How about Dobbs himself? Do you think,
I think
bringing
Dobbs,
Gravedigger here?
I would start Dobbs next week,
Yeah,
and
go ahead,
I think
Marc.
they will. I think they will, because I think, like, clearly, I think Vrabel has sort of verbalized this for weeks, that Malik Willis, like, there's a little bit of potential there, but it is just not ready. He's too raw. He's not ready for this. And Dobbs, if anything, he's been in the league since 2017. He just looked like he looked composed, at least, and I thought he made some throws. I mean, he's not perfect. You're in a bad situation, but I mean, you can roll with Dobbs next week and see what happens. I think Malik Willis, to me, let's check him out next year. I mean, he is not ready.
What do you think, Gravedigger?
I totally agree. Dobbs gave them life. The offense, they had a passing game without Ryan Tannehill, which they haven't had. Dobbs finished with 232 yards passing, which Ryan Tannehill's only done in half the games he's played this year. And Malik Willis hasn't even topped 100 in a game. This is almost Malik Willis's total for the season, appearing in 7 games, and Josh Dobbs did it in one night. So, yeah, he had his receiving weapons healthy. Malik Willis didn't always, but he was playing with 4 backup offensive linemen and still only took 2 sacks. He had 2 fumbles, threw an interception, lost one of those fumbles. He had a couple other throws that could have been interceptions that make you kind of, hold your breath. But at least he was moving the ball. He hit a deep shot. He had 3 completions of over 30 yards, which, we haven't seen that in the Titans offense for a while.
How's the tension here between former producer Justin Graver and Ricky? Are you proud of what Justin's done in your absence, Erica?
Oh, I'm so proud. I think it's amazing, and there's absolutely no tension whatsoever. I'm
All
excited.
right, now give us your real answer.
No, I did. I honestly felt for him last night watching this game. I was like, ooh, they have to single this game out for, a series of time aside from a normal recap show, which is just, you guys kind of, I would have liked the Cowboys to put this away way faster. Like going into the half, I was just like, are they gonna actually get into gear if they're this team that they keep saying that they are and that people think that they are? I thought T.Y. Hilton looked great. Dak. I just felt like the offense, even with Zeke, he wasn't really getting a lot of yards, which I guess that has to do with the Titans defense, of course, but it just, the second half took too long to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like when they went into that first half, I'm like, are these the Cowboys that are playing against Titans backups that we've been talking about as like finally making a playoff run and being this team? I would have liked to see more in that first half.
I hear that, Ricky. I hear that. But, like Zeke, for instance, we now know at this stage of his career, he's better as a tandem duo with Tony Pollard. You didn't have Pollard in there. And I would say the only thing that in terms of concern I would have is, the Dak turnovers 3 1/2. He can get away with that stuff right now. But there are some big time teams in the NFC that I think are better than the Cowboys that they're going to run into in the playoffs. And even if they run into a team like, say, the Packers, that's how you lose a game. You turn the ball over, you give teams short fields, you get behind. They have to play clean football. But they're not running into anyone good in the first round. They're running into the NFC South champion no matter what.
Yeah,
like,
but I think to Dan's point, like, I watch this Cowboys team, and I think when they're good, they're explosive, and you can see it. But do I trust them to win 3 road playoff games?
Of course not.
If they're going to turn the ball over like this, I don't know.
They haven't won a road playoff game in like 30 years. So,
right,
like, even playing a NFC South champion, like, I'm going to go into that game with some trepidation. Like, show me, Dallas, that you're not going to lay an egg now that
but you're going against the Titans quarterback who's been there less than a week, and it's Dobbs. I mean, it's not, superstar Baker Mayfield coming in on only 24 hours of practice. Like it you know what I'm saying? Like, if this is
company
the
woman,
team, if this is the team,
Baker kind of stunk on Monday Night Football.
Ricky, have you seen Baker around the complex?
2 degrees. I have, yes. Baker is very, very.
Give me
nice.
what's the vibe? Because
are you allowed to make eye contact with him?
Mayfield.
Oh yeah. No, I go, hey, Bake. And he goes,
are you taller than him?
No.
Well, that is absurd.
No.
No,
he's
go ahead, Rick.
He's a beefy boy, Mark, if that answers your question.
Yeah.
Now you're talking Mark's language.
I know.
Here's my non-game related thought. I think, and Greggy, you're plugged in on these matters, but as the Thursday Night Football schedule wraps up the first year with Amazon, which paid a buttload of money, obviously, to get the slate of games. And some of the games were good and some were leaky, as Al Michael said. And the way this season ends in a Week 17 game where one of the teams doesn't even have anything to play for and is resting their players, just no juice. My prediction for the near future of the NFL is you're going to see like a sea change in the flexing of all these primetime games, because there's so much money now involved with the networks and the streamers in terms of how they're paying the talent on top of everything else that goes with it, that these networks and streamers are going to feel like they have some leverage. And I think we're going to see some form of Thursday night flexing. I know it's harder on a shorter week, but maybe there's more of an advance to it. Maybe you have to do it a month in advance or something. And certainly Monday night and Sunday night will continue. I just see that becoming more of a thing based on the dollars, follow the money.
Yeah, I think they just got bad luck, like all the primetime schedules did. Like, these Rams games were highly sought after. This Cowboys-Titans game might have been the most sought after, seemingly like the safest game on the entire TNF schedule, because the Titans would never have a losing record. It was hard not to think about the last time they were on TNF, the night when Marc Sessler jumped on the Titans bandwagon, and they have not won a single game since. But yes, TNF, I think, is going to feel like kind of the ugly stepsister here. They are flexing Monday night starting next year. And I think TNF is, unfortunately for Amazon and Alan Kirk, going to be the third.
I think Mark strapped a C4 explosive to the Titans bandwagon.
Yeah, I didn't intend to, but I think that's exactly what happened. Dan, I had the same thought. Like, you probably need to give teams a long runway to schedule or reschedule a Thursday night game. But the league in general is axing things that aren't competitive. Like, it took a long time, but the Pro Bowl, check you later. I mean, we're flexing everything else. And in last night's game, I mean, beyond the fact that it drove certain fantasy heads nuts, and that's beyond my concern, but like, it's just sitting out there as an island game with zero consequence. And I think the NFL's like, our product is far too dominant to even suggest that we'd be spending Friday talking about that game versus something else they could have put in. But if you looked at it a month ago, you wouldn't have changed this game. That's the problem. Stuff sneaks up on you in the last month.
I agree, Greggy, about the bad luck side of it. But I just wonder if the amount of money involved with these deals if they're going to start asking in the negotiations for more protection. And whether the NFL pushes back and says, no, we literally can't help you on Thursday night. Maybe that wins in that debate. But I would imagine like Amazon, whoever the next bidder involved is down the line, is going to say, we're not going to pay Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit $1 trillion and pay a bazillion dollars for this package to get the worst game of the week in terms of consequential nature. Anyway.
Well, you can also save money on like the cot that they put up there to keep Kirk Herbstreit like awake during the game. Like he's taking naps. I mean, I don't like it. I thought
he was doing okay.
He's a pro.
Fine. He's good, but he's just like, it's not his favorite sport, college football is, and it's like his fourth job. Like, I want someone brings a little more enthusiasm.
Yeah, they always talk about that too. Al Michaels is like, and then tomorrow you're off to here, and then Saturday, and like it's like, okay, like let's get back to the game. He's like, oh, and then how do you do it? You're just
like, we get it. You travel for work.
I think Ricky hit the nail on the head there. I think it's telling that at the end of the telecast, when it's like, Herbstreit's like, Al, I've watched and listened to you for years. It's been such an honor. You're such a pro. And Al's like, yeah, you're so busy. Anyway, all right, let's check in with the viewers on the live stream. What you got for us with Ricky Hollywood? Harvey White asks, has Erica's Patriots fandom been tossed to the waste side? I like that. It's the wayside. Now she's working for the Rams.
No, the answer is no. The answer is I have had to take a step back with maybe tweeting about like, taking a bunch of Viagra to watch the game in the cold weather and stuff like that. I have to be a little bit more forward facing. I'm still watching every game, still following Mac Daddy on Instagram and all those types of things.
Excuse me, Mac Daddy, you said?
Yeah, he's my boy.
Okay.
And he's fine. And you guys have been way too hard on him this year. I don't think he's going anywhere. But that being said, I do have to, be a little bit more kind of choosy with my words, which has been an adjustment for me. Yeah. For sure. But yeah, every like video, Dan, the you were on Ricky's Ram Jam this week and we were talking, and I went on YouTube to look at the comments, and even one of them was like, Patriots bandwagoner. Like, it's like been a year now, and everyone, even Rams fans, are like, oh, hey, F the Patriots. I'm like, I'm not talking about them. I'm not bringing them up. Like, let me live. But no, it's been great.
Let the Ricky live. I agree. What's next? Dylan R. Why is Mark allowed to have a cat in his cell? Again, I think people, Mark, let me answer this one for you, and then you could follow up as you're a court representative.
Sure.
This is not a state penitentiary. Mark is not in Rikers. This is a country club outside of Greenwich, Connecticut. It's a work release. He's allowed to come to LA on Sundays and Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh, wow.
Fridays through Saturdays, he spends in the country club correctionals facility. He plays tennis, and yes, he has a feline. Mark, anything to add there?
Yeah, it's a controlled environment, but it doesn't control any of my impulses. I'm allowed to do whatever I wish, and I would suggest it for an adult. It's a great situation.
And Mark, I am working with authorities and the district attorney to see what I could do about your case in terms of an appeal. Right now, it's a pretty airtight case against you. The evidence is overwhelming, but I'll continue to fight it until my legal recourse is exhausted.
Do I seem like I'm in a rush to exit this facility?
No, I think you love it there. What else we got? Mark Farisi. Greg, this one's for you. Best and or most intriguing landing spots for Derek Carr.
Everyone's saying the Jets right off the bat. You know what feels right is the Washington Commanders. He just feels like that. Two sides that need each other, and he would make them better. He is the like quarterback that makes sense to just make them respectable.
That's a good one. Yeah, the Jets make sense. I think the Jimmy Garoppolo thing, as much as I would be lukewarm on it, just because the connections with Mike LaFleur and San Francisco and what I think they're looking for in a quarterback. Garoppolo, he makes sense for the Jets, but I don't know if I want that. Carr. I would rather have Carr, put it that way. Robert Tanaka asks me, what vet QB makes the most sense to be the Jets QB in 23? Yeah, like I just said, I think Garoppolo makes sense. I think Carr makes sense.
I put that up because you were kind of answering
It was
it.
a good
so I just
follow-up
wanted to,
question.
Oh
That's-
yeah,
you already answered
yeah.
it.
I would love to kick the tires on Matt Stafford if that was potentially a thing, but maybe it's not. Aaron Rodgers
not
is
a
kind of
thing.
a fun idea, but I wouldn't want to give up a ton of resources to see there. And
I
the
want
Tom
Geno
Brady
back there. I want Geno back as the Jets
Geno. No, I'm
quarterback.
fine with Geno. Geno
No,
can
Mike,
stay where
Mike's
he
the
is.
future.
Light him
Mike
up this
light
weekend, and then everyone brings
Mike.
Geno back. That would be
The
amazing.
one thing that is a lot of fun to think about, and I don't know what to make of it, but like if Tom Brady ever wanted to come back to the AFC East and exact some revenge on Bill Belichick with a really good Jets roster, that would be interesting and fun.
That'd
I
be
don't think
so
it
fun.
happens.
He's
but
going to Vegas, and so is Gronk. It's gonna
Tom
be
Brady,
insane.
like I think Tom Brady and Belichick are still linked by the one unending fact that they both hate the Jets with everything inside of their being. So I don't see that as Tom Brady's final season.
I know, but wouldn't it be so delicious if
it
he
would-
then
I mean,
joined
I
the
would-
Jets to stick it to Belichick?
I love to watch it, but
I want to know what their relationship is. I think it would be put it this way, it'd be very telling if that ever happened. It won't. What else?
It's like some fan fiction stuff here.
Well, yeah, like Robert Saleh getting fired.
Dan's
Lee
secret
West.
diary.
That was being reported. I'm telling you. I
Show
would
me
not-
one local reporter, Greggy, that's reporting that Robert Saleh's job's in danger.
I asked. You can guess the reporters at our network whether it'd be possible, and they said a non-zero chance. So that's all.
Okay, well, keep dreaming, bud. Lee West, if you were a Giants GM, would you keep Daniel Jones or Barkley? Markey.
Barkley, I would be willing to move on Barkley at this point. Daniel Jones, I think, is a tough assessment because I think other teams would want him. But like for me, it just boils down to what else you can have, because I think Daniel Jones just has a ceiling that feels pretty tangible. And he's been coached up well this year, but it's not someone I'd invest a lot of money in. I'd take him on like a short, manageable deal potentially.
I think it's a problem for all these quarterbacks that there's too many of them available this year, like for Geno, for Daniel Jones, not for Brady as much. Jimmy G's out there, Mike White, Darnold, Baker, Teddy, Dalton, Jacoby Brissett. Like, it's just, I know those aren't guys you all want to be like a franchise quarterback, but with that much competition, I think it's going to hurt the guys like Geno and Danny Dimes.
Jacob Triplett asks, what has happened to Geno and the Hawks lately? Is there a way for them to turn it around in the last 2 weeks? I'm glad that Jacob asked this question because as can happen sometimes, and it's a very meaty narrative Jet season. I know we did a lot of Jets talk in the preview yesterday. Let's talk a little Seahawks side of where they're at right now.
What do you think, Ricky, as someone that saw the Seahawks? I have my doubts that they can suddenly turn on a dime, but Tyler Lockett is probably playing this week, I think, which really helps. I don't think Geno's been playing that poorly, so they could maybe outscore the Jets. They are not out of it in the NFC.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they're necessarily out, but I don't think that they're gonna turn it around either. And also this last season, week 18 game, the Rams going up to Seattle, that was a game that the Rams really felt like that was when we sort of started turning the tide. And when McVay was even like, you don't want to celebrate moral victories, but that game against the Seahawks really, the Rams should have won. So I do think with this new momentum and everything that's going, and if the Rams can play like they played against Denver, even this weekend against the Chargers, with Bobby Wagner back in Seattle for the first time, I do feel strongly that this team has been kind of working towards this pinnacle. And the Rams, like, of course, yes, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm there every day. I want to believe in this, but I really do feel watching the Rams Seahawks game to have them play again after the way the last month of Rams football has been going, I could see them hopefully beating the Seahawks that weekend.
Geno, by the way, was asked about if he wants revenge against the Jets, and as he's done all year, I feel like Geno's, in addition to playing his best football of the year, has been very good in the media and kind of sidestepped it, and talked like honestly about the IK and Poly jawbreak incident. But Pete Carroll was then asked the same question, like, does anything extra against the Jets this week? And he's like, well, me and Geno both share a link of, things didn't end the way we wanted to with that team. And he kind of left it at that. So I'm sure behind the scenes, those two guys are looking to stick it to the Jets and end their season.
Matt, you know what annoys me about that, though, is like Pete Carroll flamed out with the Jets. I thought he was one of the nicest people on the planet when he was their coach, maybe too nice for New York. But Geno Smith did the Jets no great favors when he was there either. The idea that there's this revenge against the Jets because they didn't really they didn't come as advertised. Like I don't have patience for that nonsense.
Carroll's there 1 year in 94. It was the year of the fake spike. They lost their final 5 games. And Leon Hess fired Carroll after 1 year, hired Rich Kotite. And the first thing
rough.
that Rich,
1 year and they won 6 games.
It was. And the first thing that Rich Kotite did when he got the job, Pete Carroll, always a player-friendly coach, had put up like a full court, blacktop basketball court on the Jets grounds. And the first thing Kotite did was he paved over that whole thing and got rid of it.
Well, Rich Kotite, what a coach he went.
And then went 4-28 over 2 years. All right. Last question. TJ Summergray. Ricky, where's the ring? Oh.
That's a great question.
When are you going to commit?
Well, it's not. We just got a puppy, so that's a big commitment. No, we just celebrated 4 years, but I actually got to tell you something. Jet has been playing daily fantasy with some classmates in school, right? And she's been coming between 1 and 4th place every week against like 200 classmates at school. So she has been so plugged into football this year. I woke up literally yesterday, come out into the kitchen, and she's sipping coffee, watching Good Morning Football. Like she like put it on the TV.
Wow.
She listens to you guys and like watches every social clip. Like she's more plugged in to you guys than she listens to anything that I ever do. So that being said, I'm not going to tell you my plans just in case this gets clipped. But I would say that 2023 is going to be a great year for us.
I love that, Erica. Can I just say, and this is
spoiler alert.
I don't want to. I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
There's like 5 like TLC and Beyonce songs about men who instead
Like,
of
wait
giving
too
their
long.
woman a ring, they give them a puppy. Like,
Yeah.
at what point? Let's get off. Let's get going.
Graver's like, this show's going long. It's true.
It's the season finale. All right, here we All right, for the last time this season, it's about me. When one of us gets the chance to take the floor and share their thoughts, and no one interrupts, especially me. And Erica Tamposi is our guest. Ricky, take it away.
Okay, so here are my top 5 NFL storylines that I would have liked to talk about if I wasn't working for a team. And this is nothing to do, this is all my own thoughts and opinions and has nothing to do with the Los Angeles Rams. So if I was doing a NFL podcast and I could talk about these kind of storylines, this is what I'd want. Number 6 honorable mention is Zach Milfson. I would have loved to talk about that. Number 5, Taylor Heineke getting a new pair of Jordans after every win in the losing team colors. I would have loved to talk about that. 4, Mike McDaniel. Just Mike McDaniel. His press conferences, him yelling, who? Talking about cheese this week, wearing long shorts and walking around practice like totally offbeat and with no rhythm to music. Like just a whole corner dedicated to curiosity that like lives within me about that man. Number 3, the Lions tweeting out a map of Michigan with the Commanders W logo on it after beating them, trolling them for when they accidentally printed the Commanders mugs over the state of Washington, which was hilarious. I would love to talk about that if I was, if I would comment on that sort of thing.
But you don't.
I don't. And number 2, this is a storyline that really didn't make major headlines, but there were videos of Cowboys fans after their first win riding a horse into Walmart with the horse tail painted blue and everything. And it was just like Cowboys fans don't know how to act after winning their first game of the season, just to juxtapose where we are now and where, we're seeing Jerry Jones and like they haven't won a road playoff game since like 1995 or whatever. It's just funny. Like, get off your horse in Walmart. If I had a comment on that, I would comment on that.
You wouldn't, though.
I wouldn't. And number 1, my top storyline that I would have liked to talk about if I didn't, work for a team would be Russell Wilson in general. Just everything from the season, the way he's played, the way to the high knees on the plane, to admitting he schedules his bowel movements. Like, I would never dare to comment since, I represent a team, and I would never call him cringy or tired or overdone or just plain mid, as the kids say at football. But I could.
Are you saying that working for a team prohibits you from talking about another player's bowel movements?
I don't think that the Rams would say. They would say, Erica, you don't need to talk about Russell Wilson's bowel movements.
Erica, have the Rams or anyone from the Rams, since you've been there, because you keep talking about having to kind of hem yourself in, which I get, but have there been any incidents where they looked at one of your tweets and said, that's not something that we'd want you to tweet, where you kind of maybe had to be talked to?
Well, yes, it was during the preseason, and we were playing the Chargers. And there is someone on the Chargers' name, and his last name is Clapp. And I said, Clapp, he caught it. And they were like, come on.
Nailed it.
See, I think that adds fun to the game. I don't know why the
I
Rams
was
would
like,
be down on that, but
but they were like, hey, come on. I was like, all right. But he caught it,
Greg, did you, beautiful job, Eric.
Thank you. Did you like that?
I think you did A+ work.
Thank you.
Greg, just because if Mike McDaniel were to lose 6 games in a row at the end of the season, and this is ownership that is also notoriously hard to predict, and they had a yacht and Sean McVay and Tom Brady involved and all that, or not Sean McVay,
Peyton?
Sean Payton involved. Do you think that Mike McDaniel's job is potentially in danger?
I think there'll be some surprise, and yeah, that was one that it doesn't make any sense, but that would be a bad owner move. They literally tried to have Sean Payton and Tom Brady last year and lost draft picks and money because of it. At this point, it seems like McDaniel's proven you wouldn't get rid of him. But would I put it past Stephen Ross to do something dumb because he's done a lot of dumb things? Not really.
My takeaway is that Dan has not stopped thinking about this Washington Post report that Greg brought up about
I didn't make it
being
up.
under
I didn't
fire.
make it up out of nowhere.
I don't know. This
Third
for some
reference
reason
to it
that
in
one
24
didn't sit well because it didn't come from any of the local reporters. Greg is big on report with your chest out and all this stuff, and then he's kind of floating this dream scenario of the Jets going into chaos.
It wasn't a dream. I was doing some.
It just felt a little. It didn't pass the smell test for me.
I was
for
doing
someone
some
who's usually very serious about their sources.
I was doing some idle speculation early in the week, and then the Washington Post thing came out, and I was like, okay, people.
No one knows the inside of the Jets building like the Washington Post.
I mean, Greg, Dan, it's not the Onion, though. I mean, the Washington Post has some reputation attached to it.
Yeah, it was our former NFL Network insider, Jason Lockenfora, who you guys spent a lot of time with in the news in the newsroom.
Well, not a lot.
Oh, I'm going to leave that right there, Greg. Wow. It is time now for the Gregg Rosenthal Week 17 Injury Minute, presented by Acrisure, Harry Palm's Miracle Cure, formulated by Marc Sessler himself. All right, let's get to it.
Lamar Jackson will be out again. This is sad. Calais Campbell and Marcus Peters also been out of practice for the Ravens. Colt McCoy is back, starting with the Cardinals. This is very concerning to me after just having a concussion. I just want to put that out there. Why is Colt McCoy starting 2 weeks after a concussion? The Giants are going to have Leonard Williams back, Azeez Ojulari back, Adoree Jackson, a game time decision. Might get Xavier McKinney back next week, so they're getting healthier. Tyler Lockett, as I mentioned, has been practicing, so it sounds like he might play in that Jets game. Hayden Hurst is back for the Bills on Monday night. Mitch Morse, their center, the Bills center rather, is also back. Greg Dulcich, if you've been playing him in fantasy, is probably out for the Broncos. The Raiders quietly is sitting everyone. It's not just Derek Carr, but Rock Ya-Sin, their starting cornerback. Denzel Perryman is on IR. Chandler Jones is on IR. Everyone's out for the Raiders now. It's kind of ridiculous.
What are we doing?
I don't. What are we doing here?
I don't know.
I think they're actually hurt in their case, but I don't know for sure.
I'm just saying, you're soiling the end of this Carr relationship to get a look at Jared Stidham, and then you're not even giving that kid a chance with a real team. What are we doing? Well, you mentioned mostly defensive guys. Whatever. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, McDaniels knows what Stidham is already, though. That's the thing.
McDaniel, he's about integrity. I understand Josh McDaniels is about integrity.
Tua Tagovailoa is officially out. Bradley Chubb is a game time decision in New England. New England looks like they're going to be down. They're 3 of their top 4 cornerbacks. Jack Jones, Marcus Jones, and Jalen Mills, and Devontae Parker, and Jonnu Smith. Not a good time for all these injuries for the Patriots. Joey Bosa is practicing. Maybe he'll return this week or next. Antonio Gibson's out for Washington. Lane Johnson, Avonte Maddox out for the Eagles. Christian Watson still hasn't practiced, although they're giving him a chance. Irv Smith for the Vikings is practicing again, might return for the playoffs. The Bucs got some good news. Donovan Smith and Tristan Wirfs, their tackles, have been practicing. And Derwin James has been limited in practice, so maybe he'll play in that Rams game. I don't think they're sitting starters, Ricky, but I could be wrong. Finally, the one that I'm keeping the eye on the most is Alvin Kamara hasn't practiced because of personal reasons, and he's zeroed out his entire Instagram account. So I don't know. I'm just looking to see what's going on there. Like,
well, they asked they asked Dennis Allen about it. It's like, you got to ask Alvin Kamara about it. It's like,
oh no,
that is something strange
because they're still playing for something. So I'm just
did he go back to Vegas or something?
I have no idea.
Hey, how do you play wide receiver in the NFL like a week after having finger surgery? That seems Tyler Lockett. A lot of respect to him if he plays that game. That sounds painful and dangerous.
Yeah, he still sounds like a game time decision, but who knows?
All right. Now, before we say goodbye, Ricky, what'd you think of the Acrisure Gregg Rosenthal minute there?
I thought that was really great, and actually, I think you should clip that part out and put it on Instagram, because for people setting fantasy lineups, like, that would have been great to know, honestly.
That's a good point. That's
Greg
a
doesn't
real
like
producer.
that. Greg doesn't like when I did it once, and Greg said, there's a lot more updates that happen after we record the show.
So early, so it's like super incomplete, or things change, so it just feels
right. But
like...
it's something to watch, and now I know going into Sunday, it's like, oh, I Greg said on Friday that Tyler Lockett may play. Like, now I'm tracking this versus just setting him.
Maybe it's
better
than nothing.
Greg is waiting to see what the Washington Post has to say about any final injury scenarios before going official with that. So
last week's predictions, Marc, or this is 2 weeks ago. Who cares about 2 weeks ago? It's so long ago. So let's just move on.
You missed them all. Just know that.
Yeah, we missed them all. All right, let's make our predictions. Greggy, get us going, baby.
All right, I'm weirdly excited about the return of Teddy Two Gloves. Like, I'm worried about Tua Tagovailoa, but my prediction is that the Dolphins and Teddy Two Gloves put the Patriots out of their misery. Teddy Two Gloves with 2 touchdowns in a win for the Dolphins in Foxborough.
All right. I will mine dovetails there. We talked about it on Thursday, just like a lot of funky stuff going on with the Patriots, perhaps behind the scenes. I say Mac Jones gets benched in that very game. The Dolphins win due to disciplinary issues, some type of whether it's something we see on the field or something in the locker room at halftime. You're going to see Zappy in the lineup, and then it's going to be a big story in the week that follows.
More fan fiction.
See, we can both do it.
But he's so good.
How about Ricky? What you got? Sorry, I know I gave you about 31 minutes to prepare this.
No. This is good. I love the idea of the Bucs and Panthers game. Right, this NFC South has been let's use one of your words, moribund this year.
Very nice.
And how about Steve Wilkes and Sam Darnold, the resurgence? Like, what about sticking the knife into Tom Brady and the Bucs this weekend? I think the Panthers are going to win.
And I'm with you. The winner of this game, that's who's hosting a playoff game.
Yep.
Crazy as it sounds. All right, Marc, close it out.
3 little items. A coach is fired Sunday night. Carson Wentz throws 2 pick sixes. Not on board with that whole situation.
More wish casting.
We get another
More
big time
fan
player who will retire by the next Friday Fun Show. Although the next Friday Fun Show is, when is that?
September?
Not JJ Watt doesn't count.
Okay, then let's just say by next Friday at noon, another big time player retires.
Beautiful.
We'll never be checking whether these come true. We're never.
I mean, Marc, I think you might get the fired coaches one, but I think you're 0 for 37 on the season so far. So
yeah, but when he hits, he hits. You know?
We all are, basically.
So. Who gets fired on Sunday?
Someone.
Like you're saying, on Sunday.
Well, not Robert Saleh, Dan.
Maybe
Don't
Cliff?
worry about that.
That's what I was gonna say.
I think
if
Cliff
I had an
Cliff would
opinion.
make sense.
All right. Interesting. All right. Thank you to everybody for watching along. Amazing stuff from the live streamers. What do we decide they were? They were the
stream of ATL.
Stream of ATL.
I love that. This is the shortest show you guys have done in the history of, the 30 years you've been doing this. And I'm having so much fun. I don't want to stop. It's like, wait, you're cutting it at 40 minutes? This is crazy.
Ricky, you've said it all. Is there anything else you want to add? And
No,
thank you again for joining us. It's been so nice.
Happy to see you guys, and I'm so proud of all that you're doing. And I am tracking. I'm not listening to the episodes. You guys do way too much content for me to keep up with it. But I'm very, very proud of you, and I can't wait to see all that 2023 brings you guys as well.
Love you,
Happy New
baby.
Year.
Thank you, Ricky.
Happy
Proud
New
of you
Year
too.
to Erica. Happy New Year to all of the listeners and viewers. And we will see you on Sunday on the other side in 2023. Remember what you got to do. Heed the call.